Morgan Freeman, the man who waited 50 years. He's played God. He's narrated the universe. And somehow, when Morgan Freeman speaks, the world listens. But here's what most people don't know. For 50 years, no one was listening to him. Not 5, not 10, 50. Before the Oscars, before the red carpets, before that voice became legendary. He was invisible. And when success finally came, it didn't bring peace. It brought pain, loss, accusations, and battles he never expected to fight. This isn't just a story about fame, it's a story about endurance. And by the end, you may never hear his voice the same way again. Morgan Freeman was born in 1937, Memphis, Tennessee, but he grew up in Mississippi during segregation. Now pause for a moment and really understand that. Segregation wasn't just a social condition, it was a ceiling. It was a system designed to tell you how far you could go before you ever tried. He grew up poor, not struggling, poor. No electricity, no indoor plumbing, cotton fields instead of playgrounds. As a child, he picked cotton under the southern sun, wore clothes stitched from flour sacks, walked miles to school, and learned something very early in life. Stay quiet, stay small. Don't attract attention, because attention could be dangerous. But at 9 years old, something happened. He stepped onto a stage for a school play, and something shifted. For the first time, people looked at him. They listened. They laughed. They applauded. And in that moment, he felt something powerful. Not power over people. Power within himself. That feeling never left. But dreams don't cancel poverty, and applause doesn't pay bills. So in 1955, he made a practical decision. He joined the United States Air Force, not because it was glamorous, because it was stable, structured, predictable, safe. But here's the truth he rarely talks about. He hated it, the hierarchy, the confinement, the obedience. He once said he realized something terrifying. If he stayed, this would become his life, and safe was starting to feel like small. So at 22 years old, he walked away. He walked away from security, from a steady future, from certainty. Most people don't leave safety. He did. And what came next was nearly 3 decades of rejection. Los Angeles didn't welcome him. Casting directors didn't see future legend. They saw a black actor in the early 1960s, which meant limited roles, servants, criminals, background characters without names. So he moved to New York. Theater would be different, more serious, more respectful. It wasn't easier, but it was honest. He studied acting, took dance lessons, performed in small productions, and at night, he drove taxis. Imagine chasing your dream all day, then driving strangers through Manhattan at 2 a.m. just to afford rent. Years passed. No breakthrough. More years. Still nothing. By his mid-30s, he had a wife, children, bills stacking up, and still no recognition. Think about that. 35. A family depending on you. And you're still trying. That kind of pressure breaks most people. He nearly broke. He later admitted he questioned everything. Was he chasing an illusion? Was he being selfish? Was he just not good enough? Doubt is heavier than poverty. Then something unexpected happened. A children's television show, The Electric Company. He played a character named Easy Reader. Kids loved him, parents recognized him, Hollywood ignored him. He was 40 years old. 40. And still not taken seriously, still waiting, still proving, still hoping. Most people would have stopped there. He didn't. He returned to theater. Serious roles. Shakespeare. Complex characters. Critics started noticing something different about him. He didn't demand attention. He commanded it. Quietly. Then in 1987, at 50 years old, he landed a role in Street Smart. It wasn't a blockbuster, but his performance was electric, raw, dangerous, unforgettable. When the Oscar nominations were announced, his name was there, 50 years old. After 3 decades of obscurity, he didn't win, but it didn't matter. The door had opened, and this time, it stayed open. Then came the roles that defined a generation. Driving Miss Daisy, Glory, and then The Shawshank Redemption. Here's something fascinating. When The Shawshank Redemption first released, it wasn't a massive hit. It underperformed. But over time, something happened. People kept watching, kept recommending it, kept returning to it. And that voice, calm, measured, steady, it became iconic. But that voice wasn't manufactured. It was earned. Earned through decades of waiting, through rejection, through restraint. Then came C7. Then Amistad. Then Bruce Almighty, where he played God. And somehow, it felt believable. In 2005, at 67 years old, he finally won an Oscar. $1 Million Baby at 67, an age when most careers fade. His was peaking, but life wasn't finished testing him, not even close. In 2008, his car flipped on a Mississippi highway, multiple times. Metal crushed inward. He had to be cut out with hydraulic tools. His left hand was shattered. Severe nerve damage, permanent. He can't fully use it. That glove you see him wearing? That's compression therapy. Chronic pain followed. Fibromyalgia. Pain that doesn't leave. Pain that doesn't show up on camera. Imagine reaching global recognition and losing control of your own body. But that wasn't the deepest wound. In 2015, his step-granddaughter, Adina Hines, was murdered. 16 stab wounds, 33 years old. He helped raise her, encouraged her dreams. He flew to New York immediately, sat in court, listened to details no grandfather should ever hear. And while grieving, false rumors spread online, disgusting accusations involving him. Completely untrue. But once the internet moves, it rarely stops. Imagine burying someone you love while defending your own name. That changes a person. People close to him say he became quieter after that. More reflective, more guarded. Then in 2018, another storm. Multiple women accused him of inappropriate behavior on film sets. Headlines exploded. Brands pulled away. Campaigns paused. He apologized for making anyone uncomfortable, denied intentional wrongdoing. No criminal charges were filed. But reputation isn't decided in court. It's decided in public opinion, and perception shifted. The man who played wisdom, authority, moral clarity, was suddenly under scrutiny. That kind of fall hits differently. When your identity is built on dignity. But he didn't vanish. He didn't rage publicly. He didn't collapse. He kept working, quieter, more selective. Because resilience had always been his foundation. Today, Morgan Freeman lives mostly on his ranch in Mississippi. He keeps bees, 26 hives. He once said bees don't care about fame. They care about consistency. There's something poetic about that. After a lifetime of applause, controversy, pain, and praise, he chose something quiet. The glove remains. The pain remains. The criticism remains in some circles, but so does the legacy. And here's the truth. Morgan Freeman's life isn't the story of overnight success. It's the story of endurance. A boy born into segregation who refused to stay small. An actor ignored for 30 years, who refused to quit. A man broken physically, who kept showing up. A grandfather shattered by loss, who kept breathing. A legend criticized, who kept standing. So here's the question. If your breakthrough required 50 years of faith, would you wait? Would you endure obscurity, pain, rejection, and public scrutiny for a moment of greatness? Most wouldn't. He did. And maybe that's why his voice feels different. Because it isn't just deep. It's lived. And sometimes, the strongest voice in the room belongs to the one who survived the longest.